Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Ready Speaker. I'm your host, Roland Rucci. I tip my hat to you. Sorry, a little shadow here. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. I usually do reviews of films or TV shows or series that are out, and I talk about them. And this is sort of a review, but it's more of a commentary. The topic today is Velma, streaming on HBO. Or appearing on HBO TV. I think I saw a streamed copy. And it's kind of interesting. There's a lot of flack about this, with the main thing being that it is Velma as a South Asian person, somebody from the East, so a person of color. It's voiced by Mindy Kaling. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sure I'm butchering it. I probably should hear how they pronounce it, and I don't. I'm kind of silly for that. But it stars her. I think she's the executive producer. So this is a reimagining of Velma, and they're all of the Mystery Van Gang, their origin story. So if they're in high school, so there's Daphne, Fred, and Norville, who's Shaggy, I assume, who's also now a person of color. So it's kind of interesting because the buzz is, one, like I said, that she's not white or what we imagine her to be white. Some of the other headlines I read was that why is it so dumb? The humor is not really there for adults, so I think it's dumbing down. Some people just hate it for the way it is. She's sexualized in a certain way. She comes out as gay. And all these little things that people are just latching onto. I'm not a real big fan of where the arguments are going. I did watch the first two episodes and the second two episodes. They drop on the same day, so I just finished watching them. And to me, what I see as the biggest problem of the critiques, not of the show, of the critiques, is that there is a heightened sense of sexuality on this show, where she comes out as gay. There's moments where she's confused about where her affection should be with. Is it with Fred? Is it with Daphne, who becomes part of that circle, or anything else? And I think the problem really is that people don't like the direction of this sexuality, or she's not sexualized in the way that a lot of reboots are doing for these younger teenage sort of characters in shows. Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, Wednesday, even the original, the film live action reboot of Scooby-Doo, where Velma has a moment where she's the hot girl with glasses off and a different type of sweater, and all of a sudden she's super attractive. Again, this is, I think, just a male dominant fantasy of what they expect it to be, and not to be a girl that's maybe not svelte, not model body, and no one really is. They're in high school, so they're exploring themselves, they're exploring their sexuality, they're exploring how they fit into society, how they're going to fit, how they become adults. Another thing too, I think that people need to take with this series is this is from Velma's point of view. And the series, the cartoon, the canon, which everybody's upset about. I don't know why cartoons have rules like that. You don't have to. You can reimagine anything. They always have. I don't know why it's becoming a thing where you don't want to. And they in the canon of Scooby-Doo show, there's two couples, Daphne, Fred, Velma, and Shaggy. And you always wonder why Shaggy and Velma never really hook up, because it feels like Daphne and Fred do. I think now they always played her kind of as an asexual person. I always probably assumed as I got older that she's probably a lesbian, and that's okay. And I think that's just how it was played. Shaggy the pothead. Daphne to me was probably with the red hair, like almost Irish, and Fred was the Mayflower grandkid or child, or sons of Mayflower, whatever. He has the ascot, so he had that sort of feel. But in this now in this show, all these characters sort of figuring out who they are. They have insecurities. They have feelings of inadequacy. Fred has small dick syndrome, which I think is kind of funny. So he's just really, really insecure about himself. He can't be the son that the father wants because he's not manly enough, and he doesn't hang out with manly people and do manly things. Daphne is raised by two moms, so she's not conflicted about her sexuality, but about her roots and her biological parents and why they gave her up, and she feels a sense of abandonment, even though she has a loving house. So and they have this concern for her. So there's a lot of good messages. Let's see, Shaggy or Norville, his dad is a therapist. The mom, I think, is the principal of the school. Velma's comes from a broken family. Her mother vanished, and that's one of the threads going through this. That she becomes a detective to find out what happened to her mother, why she never came home again, and the dad is shacked up with a waitress who's now pregnant, and it's all these kinds of things of people trying to reevaluate and see where they are in the world, and how they want to be perceived, and who their friends are, where they can lay their trust, how they can be attracted to each other or not attracted. I mean, and that's what high school really is about. I mean, we don't like to remember ourselves in those things. We always like to think that we were maybe mature, or we're just having a good time. And there's a lot of things we can doubt and question about our youth, and how we make those rash decisions, and how we objectify people, and they go into a certain area. I mean, there's even a comment, don't slut shame us for the hot girls, because they want to be hot. And that's also kind of interesting. There's a whole thread of how she's trying to teach these girls how to accept who they are, and they're more than just being attractive. And they say, well, there's more to being a lot of things, and sometimes you want to feel attractive, and you can feel attractive, and that's okay. You can be anything you want to be. There's a lot of things you can be as a woman, or a man, or anything. And there's a lot of choices you can make. And to limit yourself saying, well, I don't want to be this because it puts me in a clique, that's okay. I mean, I guess that's fine, but that doesn't the only thing that defines you. But maybe it's something that you want to be part of your definition of who you are. So I think that's a good play on that. And if you go back to the cartoon, I mean, and people were like, oh, they're not really, it doesn't seem realistic, which is silly, of the show. But even realism, I mean, they were even drawn like they were 25, 30. So I don't understand where the realism is. I know they're the damn good teenagers, but I don't know if they really looked like or acted like teenagers. They really were drawn like adults, and the same sort of mannerisms of a fully vetted adult person. So I don't really get the anger of it, and the reinterpretation. Again, this is through Velma's eyes, her perspective. If someone was immature in her eyes, that's what she's seeing. That's how she's reacting to that person. If someone's has a heightened sense of sexuality, or someone's hitting on them, or wherever where she wants to feel either abandoned or part of a group or whatever, that's her perspective. So I think we can't take that away from the character without destroying the story. And again, she's the detective. She's the one who's the anchor of the group. I think she always kind of was. She was the brains of the group. That's why they drew her sort of with glasses and a little, with the sweater, and not to hide herself. I don't think that was fair either, but that's how the character was created. So you have this interesting play roots of this character, and things that we picked up on or we imagined, and I think with Velma, they took it to a place where you can explore that. I'm okay with that. I think it's a good little series. Is it the best series out there? I don't know yet. I think it's finding its footing, like a lot of series. I think these episodes have been showing us the elements of who they are and how they're working to what the character will be. So it's a well-rounded character and a well-rounded story. First season, I think it's okay. I think it's gone to a very good start. I do commend them. The art style is a little Adult Swim, I would say. There are moments of anime, sort of like the wide-eyed, explosive face and things. So they do a little of that. Even I thought one drawing looked like Mad Magazine. So it was even that. So there's a lot of influences playing here. I think there's a bit of nostalgia, a bit of old school stuff. Maybe people are turned off by the tempo of it, but again, it's trying to find its footing. So the tempo might be dated. I don't think the jokes are dated. I think the jokes for the most part land. Some double entendres, awkwardness about sexuality, which is the focus of a lot of teenagers. Pretty much that's what they think about. It's not just school and stuff and doing chores. They're pretty much like, who are they hooking up with? That's a big thing. And I think that plays well with this. So my opinion, give it a watch. My opinion is that it's actually pretty good. I think it's laid out pretty well. I think there's a plan for it. I think I commend them on committing to that plan and moving forward. Anyone doesn't like it because of race changes or whatever. It doesn't. I think those are stupid complaints. Give me a shitty story, give me shitty animation, give me shitty audio. I will say yes. It's a pain in the ass. But this has good audio, which I know it's a cartoon, but still has good audio. Has some good design to it. I think it's very interesting characters. There's something there. There's something more than we know. It's a little bit of actually a Wednesday thing, because Velma has these visions, and actually Wednesday, the whole series with her having visions about things going on. It's a little bit different, but she has visions of all this stuff. So I don't know if it's stress induced, I don't know if it's hallucinations, I don't know what it is, but we'll get there, and we'll see where it is. And I'm watching it. I think you should give it a shot. Don't watch it with the kids, obviously. Don't watch it with, hey, the idea that, hey, it's got to be Scooby-Doo. There's no Scooby-Doo in it. There's no dog in it. I think there was a copyright thing where he's like just licensed out and he can't be in this. I think the name of Shaggy as well might be licensed out. So they recreated something. And that's okay. This is a reimagining. It's a reboot. Not a reboot, but it's an origin story. And you can do those. And you can do them well, and I think it's done well. I think the money's behind it. I think she is the executive producer, so she can read the character as she wants, and that's okay. There's no real stereotypes in this that a lot of people do. That's an easy crutch to be on. I feel like they're giving each character its place. We live in a very, very diverse world. I don't give a shit what people say. It's pretty diverse. Some people assimilate better than others, but we're pretty diverse with origins. And I think they play to those strengths. So give it a shot. This is Roland DeRucci, Reddit speaker. Thanks for joining. Subscribe. Maybe you want to make a comment. Maybe you want to reach out and do a show with me, and we can revisit this after a couple episodes. I'm game. I'm all for that. And I sort of leave every episode with this little comment. I had a very tough 2022. A lot of things happening. I essentially almost died twice. I've come back and I'm okay. I think 2023 is going to be a great year. I think things are moving forward for me. So that's what I want to tell to you, is that things can move forward. I enjoy every day that I complete. It's a full cycle for me. And when I wake up, I enjoy starting the day. So that's my message to you. Be happy you got a day. Be happy when you can start a day. Just be happy. Don't worry about it. I know there's a lot of stress in the world, and I don't want to give you the bullshit comments of like, hey, do this, do that. It's not about that. It's about you got to be happy where you are and move forward. Try and move forward. Be creative. Do something. Math can be creative. Anything can be creative. It doesn't matter. It just gives you the energy and lets your head get out of the bad places and the dark places. So enjoy that, and maybe do a podcast. I don't know. Maybe join a podcast. Right? Jinkies. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Bye.